Hey guys, well, we got a sort of a messy, unappealing job to do today, but it's going to be a little bit intriguing all the same. As you may remember, recently I was driving this car quite a bit. I got it back on the road after it not being driven. It was in a field, and then part of the time it was in the barn, I guess. So hadn't been driven, been off the road a while, and I got it going again, fixed a lot of stuff on it, and started having problems with the last thing I ever expected to have problems with, which was the transmission. This is an A904 3-speed torque flight. This is usually a very good transmission, same as what's in that one. So anyway, it started acting up. They're dropping some stuff off back there at the back. I don't even know how to get back there. There's a dumpster back there somewhere, I guess. So anyway, it started acting peculiar. It was shifting okay, and then it got where it would sometimes it'd start out in the wrong gear when it was cold, and then sometimes it would start in a low gear and then go all the way, just skip second and go straight to third, and you know, it was weird stuff, and it was unpredictable. But it was mostly got worse when it was, well, let's just put it this way, things changed when it got hot. So first thing people roll off their tongue, they say, well, it's seals are bad. Well, maybe, I won't discount that, but I've had a lot of old transmissions that work fine, so it's always a possibility. But either way, it was doing that, and then it got worse. It started making noise in there. You heard on the video I made, and at first I thought it sounded like something broke, and then I started thinking more about it and listening to it, and it sounds like the pump is cavitating, which means that, you ever hear of a power steering pump that when you run it low on fluid, it starts pulling in air? It's kind of what was the sound this was making. It's kind of like, so it doesn't necessarily that something went wrong with the pump. It's just like it wasn't pulling the fluid when it was supposed to. And along with that, it started slipping. Finally, it had a real bad slip between second and third, and then it just almost quit pulling totally. I backed it out of the driveway, got it hot and backed it out of the driveway and put it in drive, and it wouldn't go anywhere. So, and that's with the fluid being checked. I know someone is going to helpfully suggest to check the fluid in neutral and all that with a hot. I already know that. Thank you though for that. But anyway, that's the deal. So that's what's been going on with this thing. So we're at the crossroads with this about we're going to have to decide whether to replace it or check and see if it's something simple. I think it's about 5% that it's something simple, and it's going to be 95% chance that it's something catastrophic. So I don't know what that something could be. It acts to me like the filter is plugged up in it. But the thing is, with the filter plugged up, that must be where the dumpster is. I didn't know there was a dumpster down there. That's strange. Maybe he said a dump down there, because that's where there was like lawnmowers and junk, whole junk, piles of junk. Anyway, all this going on all of a sudden. But either way, I'm going to go ahead and crack the pan off of it and see what that tells us. And like I was about to say, if it's got a clogged filter on it, then the thing about that is what clogged it, because there's normally a transmission filter should not ever clog up, because any kind of, you know, debris, particulate matter, usually settles into the bottom of the pan, whether it be clutch material or pieces of things like brass off of thrust washers, or pieces of aluminum, or pieces of, you know, sprag or whatever. It usually goes down there, and it's not usually ever much picked up in the filter. Now, if the band came apart in it, then that could be pieces big enough to clog it. But anyway, we're not going to know any of that until I get my can under there and drain the fluid and pull the pan. So let's do that now and find out what we got in there. This pan looks perfect, like it's never been touched. So I've got the bolts loosened, and let's crack this thing open and see if we can start draining here. Hang on. That's it. Well, the fluid looks okay so far. some burn, but not the black. Right here. Alright, let's continue. Alright, the pan is off without much fanfare, so I hadn't even dumped it out, of course, so I'm going to drag it out into the light of day and let you guys look at it and tell you already we got evidence. Chunks. So what are they chunks of? Well, let's see here. That's a piece of a kickdown band. It's another piece of a kickdown band. More of the kickdown band. Same. Same. These are all chunks of the kickdown band, which for whatever reason has delaminated itself off the backing. That's what I suspected was happening when I heard that. When it would go shh, when it was going into second gear. That's some kind of nice metal slurry right there, I would say, probably. Let's see here. And get you kind of propped up so that fluid will drain down to the bottom down there a little. Hang on, let me get something else, put this pan on. Okay, I'm going to attempt to dump this excess fluid into this nice clean container here without losing much of our evidence. Okay, so analysis. So we have, I believe this is the front of the transmission pan, so this is closest to the band. So we have, he says something there. This is all kickdown band material that sloughed off of it. And then if we come up here, we have nice metallic slurry out in here. See how that's, you can't really tell on my finger maybe, but you look down in there. That's metallic. And so what's happened is just tell you simply what happened is the kickdown band came apart. That's what was, look at that, see that paste? That's aluminum steel paste of some sort. If it's metallic, it's steel. If it's aluminum, then it's something off something besides the drum. But anyway, essentially what happened was the kickdown band delaminated and came apart just from age, heat, maybe it was slipping. They may have ran this thing with the throttle lever adjustment out of it, not right, but regardless, it took out the kickdown band. Then when the kickdown band was worn out, all the linings come off of it. Then the problem there is, where it starts getting expensive, is that it wraps around the drum there, which is steel, And this metallic slurry that you see is probably where the backing of the kickdown band, think of the kickdown band as like a semicircular brake shoe. Like on one of those old Model Ts or something had a dry brake shoe that clamped at the back of the transmission to be the parking brake. Same deal, except it runs in the transmission fluid. But anyway, what happened was all the linings come off this, and it's just steel, it's metal on metal, so it has ground down on that steel drum and worn it, you know, gouged it, ground it down. That's what all this metal paste is from. So that's what I had an idea was going on based on the noise that was there in it. And then what's happened after that is probably that the metal and everything and bits and pieces of, they're either probably getting sucked up in the filter up there, or they're getting I don't know, it just got the smaller stuff may have circulated through the transmission that took something else out. So I know one of you guys was telling me that it might be because of the register on the crankshaft, but I don't know that yet. But anyway, I don't even know what's in this thing. But let's take a light look at that filter. Everybody and their brother that ever deals with a transmission problem or wants to know what it is before taking the pan off of it tells everybody else that you just need to check to see if the filter needs changed. So let's look and see if it needs changed. Okay, see if we can get under here without taking a bath in transmission fluid. So, alright, so here's the filter, and here's my light. So anyway, I don't know if I'd call it clogged. It doesn't look clogged, but let me see if I can possibly. Inside transmission looks clean, but you know what? They're always deceptively clean. That's the reverse servo lever there. I don't even know if that thing's right either. Got a lot of slack in it, but anyway, let's get up here. I'm gonna scoot this transmission pan back over, and I just took a bath this morning, so I have to take another one this week. No, I'm only kidding. All right, so whoops. All right, if you look up in there, that there, see that thing in the middle? That's the kickdown lever actuator arm, whatever they call that thing. Kickdown lever is what it is. So, and then that's the servo for it. Damn it. That round thing, that's the servo. It pushes down on that. And then this other end of this thing, this other end of that thing goes up against the kickdown band. And so when this thing, the servo activates and it pushes down on this end of that lever, the other end, it kind of wraps it, I guess. So let's see something. Let's see if there's a lot of slop in that thing. Yep, look at that. Yep, there isn't anything left of that kickdown band except the back of it. I don't think you can even see it up in there. Let me look and see. Hang on, let me see if I can do a better job of this. Alright, let me look at what I'm looking at. Okay. Look. Alright. See that thing there that's going up in there to the, right where my light's pointing right there? The kickdown band is one of those things, those flat pieces right about mid-screen right there. Up in there, straight up in there. You see that link, that flat piece there you're looking at that looks like steel, that is it's about mid-screen, that's the link, and it pushes on that. When I move that with my finger, it pushes on that link, and that link pushes, that's a piece, that's the end, that's the mount that's made onto the kickdown band up in there. It pushes against that kickdown band, tightens it up. But that is way too much. I don't know if I can pull this off or not. I'm trying to do this, trying to show you guys something here. Let's try it anyway. See all that movement? That's not supposed to be there. So anyway, that's what happened. It lived a long life, but here's the verdict on what we're gonna do here. We aren't fixing this one because it's too expensive, because all that metal, when you have something steel, hard parts come apart like that, the bad part of that is that it is gone through the whole transmission. You have the potential for steel particles to circulate through the pump, through all the bushings, into the valve body. Every place this fluid goes, that stuff could have went. And it's just like circulating metal through an engine. It just it fucks everything up. So you have to assume at this point that the whole transmission, there may be nothing usable in it at this point. Now that's pretty hardcore. It's probably, the valve body is probably okay in it, but you're gonna have to assume that you're gonna have to put a drum in it, because it probably ground the drum up. And you're probably got to rebuild or put a new front pump in it. You're probably going to have to put every thrust washer in it. You're probably going to have to put every bushing in it. So, you know, I know some folks like to say, well, you can fix that. You can fix that. Well, it may not be your money. That's my money. And my money is telling me I'm just going to put another used transmission in it, because this is way more than I want to get into and way more than I want to pay for right now. So it lived a long life. Someone said, well, it's 50 years old, you don't have any complaints. Well, no, I don't really. I wish it hadn't have done this, but, you know, I don't know what kind of treatment it got before I got it. That normally doesn't happen. So, I mean, you gotta really abuse one for that to do that. It got hot. So I figured what happened was some clown didn't know how to hook up that throttle kickdown, and they ran it with it just not enough line pressure in it, and it probably slipped that band excessively and got it hot. And then when I hooked it back up, it was already on its way out. It wasn't gonna last long anyway. So that's it. That's all. That's game over. So rip to this transmission. Nearly 52 years old. So say your goodbyes to it. So what I'm going to do, I guess I'm going to leave my pan under here and catch some more drips out of it, and I'm going to take this thing back off the jack stand so it doesn't look obvious that it's dead. And plot my next move. I think everybody's, well, not everybody, but several folks been asking about that transmission that I have in the garage in there that's sitting on the end of that other slant 6 engine. Why don't I just use that? Well, that's not off the table yet. But if I told you the reason why I didn't want to use it, you would laugh at me. But I'll tell you, that's a very much later model transmission, and it works fine. And I'm not saying I won't use it, but I really would resist using that, because that's a low first gear when they changed the ratios in them from 245 first gear to 274 in about 1978, 79, or 80. When they did that, the sound of the transmission in low gear changed to a much more generic sounding transmission. And these 904s have, if you ever drove one of these cars, it has a particular sound to it. And to me, it, you know, being my car and my transmissions, I don't want to do that. I want to put the original old style transmission back in it. So that's just where we're at with that. That may be a very, very silly, ridiculous reason for some of you, but it's my car. So anyway, thanks for watching, guys, and I hope this clued you in on this. If you got any questions about something I didn't explain very thoroughly or you missed, feel free to ask me. I'm always glad to help folks and contribute to our understanding of these old cars. So anyway, that's it. I'm going to wrap it up on this one, and we will move forward on this. I'll tell you now that I have a potentially interesting purchase coming up, possibly. It's not going to be another Mopar. I got plenty of those now. But I'm looking at something. I've been wanting one for a while. I've had one before. I'm not going to tell you what it is yet. But if this goes through, then be seeing something on this. If not, I'll just tell you it fell through. So anyway, thanks for watching, guys. Have a good one. Bye.